You're listening to the BBT, and I'm John Krol speaking with Keith Girouard of the Mass Small Business Development Center Network, and we're talking about helping individuals decide in which direction they should head when starting a business, because people may have a lot of different ideas, but getting that right one that works is sometimes, it takes some tweaking.
Absolutely, particularly if you have creative people. They have multiple ideas for businesses, and which one is the right one for them? Well, the first step would be is to size up the opportunity, to look out into the world and see where there might be opportunity for you or for this business. And part of that is to understand there's a difference between building a business around what you want to do versus what people want to buy. It's about what people want to buy, John.
Indeed, because you can have many different talents or many different ideas, but if what you truly want to do is not marketable at all, then clearly perhaps there's some tweaking that needs to be done to sharpen your idea.
Yes, because if you satisfy yourself, if that's what you want to do, well, you have a customer base of one. That's not enough to build a business, John, as I'm sure you know. There's some factors that you'd want to consider.
So what kind of tools are out there for people to help figure out the direction in starting a business? Because God knows there's nothing more difficult than considering that. There's not usually a lot of positive peer pressure when it comes to starting a business from people around you, because it can be a very daunting thing. But it helps to have tools and, of course, the support.
Yeah, well, particularly I'd like to suggest a tool that people can use if they have multiple ideas and they're trying to decide which one. There are a few factors that you'd want to consider. First of all, is the business or business idea that you have in the industry sector or business sector, what's that sector doing? Is it improving? Is it flatlining? Is it declining? That's an important. Another one is to really do a personal assessment of your own skills, abilities, and backgrounds. And that might include business skills, people skills, and then also just take stock of what your risk tolerance is. Some opportunities are more risky than others, and you really, I think, want to be clear about what your tolerance for that risk is. And then, what's your personal connection or passion to the idea that you have, or a set of ideas? Some of them you might say, hey, I think there's an opportunity there, but I don't really connect with that. I could do it, but well, that's probably not a great place to start. Sometimes there's practical considerations, and I'll give you an example. There were two guys who wanted to open a bagel making business. This is a while back ago when there weren't that many bagel shops. And they discovered that one of them was going to have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to make the bagels. And so they turned to each other and they said, you going to get up? No. Are you going to? No. So it's a practical.
It's a deal breaker right there.
That's a deal breaker right there at 3 o'clock in the morning. So, and then of course there's money considerations. There's you need to provide sufficient revenue and profits as you need them to be or define them. And then I think you also need to discover and or commit to your own personal income goals. So you could make a simple tool. Just take a piece of paper and across the top just put your ideas, 1, 2, and 3, 4. And along the side is just put this list of criteria, and then you're going to rate each one on each idea. So industry, business sector growth potential would be 1, your own personal background and experience, needed business skills, needed people skills, your risk and the risk tolerance that you have, your personal connection and passion to the idea, some practical considerations, and of course there's the money. Does it provide sufficient revenue or profits, or does it meet your personal income goals? And then rate them 1 to 5. Just each rate 1 to 5. You can add up the columns and ideas, and I guess you could go with the one that scores the most, but it gives you some kind of practical, objective way to look at these different business ideas.
Speaking with Keith Girouard from the Mass Small Business Development Center Network, I'm John Krol. We will continue our conversation after this.